Alright everyone, if you want to see some sheer propaganda, just look up Nancy Mace at the moment. What do you see from the legacy media? Right-wing fascist, hates trans people, terrible, terrible person. Basically the Unterführer of the Nazi party at this point. The fact is, though, that Nancy Mace has a point. That is, that women do deserve to have their own spaces. Now, I would subtly suggest that men should also have their own spaces to be brosifs, and we don't really need your tampons lying around in our bathrooms either, so I do believe in bathroom segregation. You want to have a unisex bathroom, good luck finding somebody that actually fucking wants to use it who doesn't have a vagina, by the way. If you've ever had to clean out bathrooms before as part of janitorial duty or anything like that, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone who I've talked to about this has attested to exactly what I've said, by the way. Nancy Mace is not a far-right fascist for believing that women should have their own spaces. Let me give an anecdote. I have a daughter. Do I want her to have to go to the locker room and be around men, dudes with dicks and shit? No, of course not, because that's fucking weird. There's no reason to. There's a reason why we segregate the genders. There are two of them, by the way, generally speaking. I don't have any problem with, like, interactions between girls and boys, men and women. That's gonna happen anyway. It's inevitable. But to have spaces where you can be free of those interactions sort of makes sense. It's not a form of fascism by causing that to be a thing. McBride, incoming Congress-ear from Delaware, has a big fucking problem with that. And wants to use, you know, the girls' room. But you're a dude. Ultimately, you've got a Y chromosome. I hate to tell you this, but you are male. There are two genders. If you have a Y chromosome, you are male. If you have no Y chromosome, you are female. This, by the way, this basic schema fixes for all of the various secondary genetic disorders that can exist. There's one extremely rare disorder where a male can present fully as female, actually. But it has nothing to do with the sex chromosomes. I can't remember the name of it. It's like 1 in 100 million people or something like that, so don't worry. It's probably not happening to you. When I look at the whole gender bender thing, the problem that I see is that there are people that are pretending that there aren't males who are going to attempt to, and it's usually males, 99% of the time, some dude decides to use the other locker room. He's not there because he genuinely feels female, he's there to perv on people. And this is what I pointed out years ago, and this might anger some right-wing members of my audience. I don't give a fuck if you're gay. I don't give a fuck what race you are. I don't give a shit if you cross-dress. None of these things mean anything to me. If you genuinely feel female, you've got dysmorphia or whatever the hell it happens to be, I don't give a fuck how you dress, I don't give a fuck how you screw, I don't give a fuck what restroom you use. Perfectly fine. The problem lies in the fact that the majority, in my opinion at least, of people that are going to take advantage of that unisex environment are not genuinely transgendered at all. They're straight males who are attempting to perv. That's the real problem with it. I pointed this out years ago, much to the defiance of some members of my audience, because I said, of course, if you're genuinely trans, I don't have a problem with you. Actually met one individual who was transgendered. Dude that I went to high school with. And he's taken a bunch of hormones. I don't know if he's gotten bottom surgery or anything like that. And this was years ago. And perfectly nice individual, not doing anything wrong, can vouch personally for the fact that he's not a pervert. But for every person that falls into that category, there's going to be several people that are perverts. And that's the whole problem. That's the problem with this sort of thing. Nancy Mace is as much a fascist as J.K. Rowling. Third-wave feminists, literal bra burners, people who do the I am woman, hear me roar thing, are getting called far-right simply because they don't want men to come and victimize them. It's completely inexplicable at this point. I don't even know what the left is trying to do. I mean, I know some of them want to victimize people, but those that don't, what are you doing? Destroying yourself, committing political suicide? It appears to be the case. I think that men and women should generally be separate. Now, if you want to have like a unisex facility or something like that's perfectly fine. If you want to have a space where everyone can interact on an even keel, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm simply saying, and apparently this makes me a Nazi, I'm simply saying that men and women should have places that they can go where they can be fucking left alone, where they shouldn't be fucked around with. That's all I'm asking. And by the way, it does apply to men as well. Again, we do not want women leaving their dirty tampons on the floor of our bathroom. I've seen an awful lot of them. You spend a couple of weeks goddamn cleaning out the women's room and see all of the abominations that you can see there. God, I'd probably rather eat the candy corn sandwich again. I don't understand what it is about girls, but by God, your bathroom etiquette is 100 times less than with men. That's about all. Peace out.